welcome. Happy Sunday, and welcome to the Screen Time Continuum. My name is Keelan, and I am here with Nick. What's going on, brother?
Hey man, happy Sunday. How are you?
I'm well. Can't complain at all. I had something quirky and cool to say, and I don't remember, so I'm just gonna run with the normal. I am well indeed.
Isn't it always the way? You always think of something witty when there's nobody to say it to.
Exactly. We come up with our best ideas in the comfort of our own minds. As it's actually funny you say that, or excuse me, you respond with that. Uh, Earlier I was having a discussion with a friend, and it literally was about how you'll come up with something, or like the exact discussion was when you were a kid, you feel like you might have come up with some of the most clever ideas, even thoughts of like technology that you thought would never exist. And then you look at the stuff around you today and you go, I might have had something there.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just curious to how many people have those stories. And yeah, it was an interesting discussion.
And then I
But
tell myself I'm going to keep a journal with me so I can write my good ideas down. And then what do? Don't keep a journal
don't
with
keep a
me.
journal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few 3-page journals as well. And I encourage other people to keep journals. And then they say, "Oh yeah, what did you put in your journal last week?" And I go, "So what happened was
Yeah. I got really into it for about 3 days and then I stopped for 4 months.
for 4 months total." It happens that way.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we are here to cover episode 8 of The Last of Us. Episode 8 is the second to last. On our last episode, we weren't quite sure how many episodes we were going to get. We were assuming 8 because it hadn't been definitive. The way things were looking, it was like, okay, I guess they can give us a roundabout ending here and then run us into season 2 whenever we get that. We knew for sure it wouldn't be 10, but we have found out that there will be 9 episodes. So, episode 8 is the second to last episode for The Last of Us. Um, yeah, it's not really much to seg into this with. So, if you were watching The Last of Us, the series that is currently showing on HBO, it is made and the storyline follows that of the video game. Of course, there are some things that are elaborated, but if you have not already watched episode 8, please take a break right now because we are about to go through this entire episode and give you some spoilers. If you can handle spoilers and then you're going to still go and watch the episode, hang out. If you haven't started the Last of Us series at all, hey, you can actually hang out for this episode, no problem. Go ahead and start the series if you choose. If you don't, hey, I don't think you're missing too much. We appreciate you for being here at this moment with us for our review. That is the end of your spoiler warnings. And to begin the spoilers, Nick, what are your first thoughts of episode 8 of The Last of Us?
I actually enjoyed this episode a little bit more than the rest of the episodes. If I had to say that if somebody was going to make me pick my favorite episode out of all this, I think this might be closest to the one I enjoyed the most. I haven't figured out whether there are other episodes that I actually really enjoy in this series. So that's something to be said. I think that this one had a good pace to it. There were stakes. It was a little bit on the edge of your seat. What's going to happen next? I like that. I do have some issues with just how quickly everything was wrapped up. It felt like we needed to get done with this part and then get on to the next thing. And that seems like where we're going. To me, it felt like it could have been a 2-episode storyline or arc. But thinking about what the context of those people were, maybe too gruesome to show in further detail. I think that they could really only get away with insinuating certain things about those people that they couldn't. Nobody wants to see that type of stuff on TV. So I understand why they had to kind of just put it out there as a vagary for you to sort of glean on. But I like this episode just fine. I think that there's some. I don't know. It still hasn't wowed me as a series, but that could all end next week when they wrap it up, and I say, "Wow, they did a good job." So that's where I'm at. I'm kind of like, yeah, this was a good episode, but I'm not over the moon with the series so far.
Nice. I too liked the episode. I can't say I disliked this episode compared to the others. Uh, I mean, for me, this episode really pans into three things. We get the introduction of a very complex character that goes the same way as everybody else, so that's normal. The normalcy of this episode or this series is continuing. Still feels very video game esque, and the more and more I remind myself as we watch, and I keep saying it, and it's so true. The more and more I remind myself, hey, this is a video game. It's like, right, okay. So let me sit back and watch this live action character with no controller. Um, so we see a slow hill, we see a progressive level up. That's for Joel and for Ellie. And we get the complex character that's interesting, but not interesting enough to take on. And I too agree that this really felt like it could have been a 2 episode storyline. I wanted it to be a 2 episode storyline. I don't know if it was too gruesome, but I understand the theory there. I mean, we got what did we get? We got flayed bodies.
Well, I was thinking more of the predilections of the priest in regards to what he really wanted from Ellie. That might have been
Ooh,
over the line to
that was
sort
far
of.
over the line.
Well, I mean, it was already clear enough that it was awful.
Yeah,
And so I don't know if we could handle another episode of him doing that type of thing.
I understand.
So,
I
yeah.
understand exactly what you mean, and yeah, I'll actually just leave it there as you did because that is more gruesome. I agree than if we were talking blood and guts, and that's not what
Yeah, the
this was.
cannibal thing, I'm
You're right.
just like, whatever about it. It's what, it's like what he had in mind for Ellie was the gruesome part.
It was pretty fucking gross.
Mhm.
Um. So the interesting thing of that is we meet David at the very beginning of this episode, and he is reciting Revelations 21, which seems to be a passage that he's recited way too often. And we discover that this is a funeral. There's a sign behind him that has the title of this episode at the beginning and then a follow up. The title of this episode is When We Are in Need. And the sign behind David says, When we are in need, he shall provide. Whom is he?
It's the fungi, man.
It,
He was a fungi zealot. I'm telling
you
you.
saw it
Yeah.
too. No, he
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
He definitely was. And he was using the prose of God to fool everyone else. But he was definitely a fungadelic. Uh,
Yes, he was a fungadelic, yeah.
um, so yeah, that's the easiest way to explain David. Not the kind of guy that I really thought he was. By the time we found out who he was, I was kind of
I
wondering
mean,
why.
like it was obvious that he was going to be awful. Like
Yeah,
they tried to make it a little bit vague in the beginning where he could actually just be a really decent person, but that didn't last very long.
I didn't think he was going to be a decent person. I also did not think he was going to be that bad. Like
Oh, well, yeah,
the guy we
it went
discovered he
from
was.
I got some starving people to feed to this guy
I
needs
got
to be
some
taken care
starving
of.
demons to feed.
Yeah, he just needs to be removed.
Take him out. Um. So yeah, we see him the funeral. The guy Alec. So immediately they're talking about this guy Alec that's being killed by these people.
We got a comment from Corey here.
Corey, what's up, Corey? Got David Koresh vibes from the guy.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
know that name.
I believe that's Waco, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, okay,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yeah. Wow, yeah, very Waco vibes. Didn't even put that there.
yeah.
Oh,
Lots of cult vibes for sure.
speaking of unfortunately, well, being unfortunate, but thinking of real life things. I don't know the guy who played James, but we've seen him in other things, like him as an actor. But also the guy who played David, his name is Troy Baker. He's also the voice of Joel in the video game.
Oh, they're cool.
Yeah, that
Right
that
on.
was an interesting tidbit. Too bad can't like his character.
No, no. I mean,
Too bad can't like his character. Complex
mm-mm.
character, but I'm glad he had to go. Um, back to the story. So he makes a statement that, to me, was a tip off to what's going on and what temperature you should expect from this town and from its leader. They're having a memorial or a funeral of sorts, and when the young lady is crying and she speaks and she goes, "When can we bury my dad?" And David tells her, The ground is too cold to dig. We'll bury your father in the spring. I'm immediately like, so where are you gonna hold the body? Because that's definitely gonna.
Don't worry, we got a meat locker over there.
Mhm,
It'll be
yeah.
fine.
So I'm telling you, my brain tries like, where are you gonna?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's what's going on. All right, got it.
Yeah.
It was quick. It wasn't even a hard one to figure.
I got
Um,
another comment here for you.
mhm. Arsh, hey, how are you? Thanks for joining us. Arsh says, why don't you guys post clips of your streams? It'd be cool. We appreciate that. We've gotten a few
We're really, really
suggestions for
bad at
that,
marketing ourselves.
and we're right. We're really
If you
trying
guys
to get
haven't
better at it.
noticed.
We're trying our best to get better at
Yeah.
marketing. We suck at it. Um,
Yes.
but thank you for that suggestion because it is a
Appreciate it. Thank
very
you,
good and
Arsh.
important one, and we think it will be helpful as well. Thank you for reminding us. I'm gonna have to just make a note of that. Um, he tells her the ground is too cold to dig. Now, first off, that doesn't make sense. Let's start with that. The ground's cold, the ground's wet. That makes it a little easier to dig, actually. However, if it's frozen, don't ask me. I live in California. I don't know what it's like to
Oh
dig
yeah,
in the
that's
summer.
that Colorado frozen though. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's probably frozen. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like I could be definitely wrong on
Mhm.
this. But if I am not, the guy's just weird from the beginning. The moment he tells her that, it's like, okay, something's up with this guy. But they go from that to immediately he's outside with James. He tells James he sensed some weakness in James. We fast forward and they go hunting. If I'm James, I'm not going hunting with the guy who just told me he senses weakness in me.
Well, again, I think to bring back Corey's point, you do get a lot of like this cult leader vibe from him because
Yeah,
he's
I
not
wonder
like
what made him so.
he's not a strapping killer dude. He's not a big alpha male, but he's definitely got like the intimidation factor over the people that he's quote unquote watching over, protecting. So I don't know. I mean, like there seemed to be at least a dozen able-bodied men that could have killed that dude, but
Multiple.
I guess
I think a couple of them could,
things get
but see,
weird when the apocalypse happens.
something I did note when you say that. The thing with Joel being on his slow recovery, which is very video game esque, I appreciated the consistency of him just not jumping up and going back into Joel mode, even though he
He
got there a
kind of
little
did.
fast. Yeah, he
That-
got there quite fast, but
yeah.
there was still a way to explain it. Like, she gave him 2 injections of penicillin. If this is a video game, that first injection of penicillin should have had him on his feet. That second
Well,
should
if
have had
it's
him
a
back at
video game,
100%.
yes,
If this is a video
yes,
game, so
right.
put him back at 60% health in a reality setting. I'll run with that.
Also, I'm not a doctor, but if there are any doctors in the house, is that how you administer penicillin? Do you
If there are
give it
any
straight
doctors that
to
are
the?
consultants in Hollywood, I want you to speak
Yeah,
before the actual doctors, please.
I didn't know. I did. Maybe that is how you administer penicillin. I didn't know it goes right into the wound.
I would think you would
I'm
have
a
to do it
maybe.
intravenously.
That's what I thought, but Ellie's also a child, so
I was just, I thought it in my head and I didn't know how to put that into words. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
she's 14. In this show, we're talking about, okay, God dang you, David. Can we have burnt David? Never mind. We'll get to that.
he did
Um,
burn, thankfully.
oh, shit, you're right. Good.
Mhm.
All right. Uh,
Oh, I
um,
got one more from Corey.
Corey says, "Yeah, you couldn't dig a proper grave if it's really frozen, but yeah, it's moot because they're eating them." Exactly. I think it was a really nice. I hate to say that, a nice way to cover it up from the beginning for those who wouldn't look too deep into it. But from the moment he said it, for me, it was like, "Oh, they're eating people." And
Yeah,
when I saw the meat in the kitchen, it was like
yeah,
seeing
yeah.
plenty of meat. In fact, I enjoy very much so being the person in the kitchen cutting up the meat. That
Okay,
ain't
so my
that ain't it.
question is when why is it with movies? Every movie that I see where people are eating humans,
They're
it's
usually
always a
gross.
bowl of like gelatinous red meat that's not even cooked and it's just
Over
sitting in blood.
over
Like,
fat neck bones.
it's ridiculous. Like I don't know why you don't just cook it. Why can't you? Why does it
And
always look raw? Like
it's
you're
probably not
feeding
even
people
real meat.
meat and blood.
It's probably prop simulated looking meat.
It's like Jello or something,
Mhm,
probably. Yeah.
mhm. And why is because it looks gross, and then it gives that
Does look gross.
that
Yeah.
nasty ASMR sound, and they know everybody has surround sound, so they're gonna put that right into your center speaker, so it's coming directly at you, and you're gonna get grossed out by
You'll feel the slurps inside of your brain.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, grossly enough, that's actually what they're doing. Um, so from there we go. Oh wait, Corey said
Oh yeah, here he's got it. It was a tomato stew.
it was a tomato stew thing, and yeah, that's actually how they prosed it, like it was a tomato stew, even though he had a plate full of venison. I thought that was also nice
He
too.
had the
Oh,
plate
hey,
full
it's
of
venison.
venison.
Where'd the venison come from? Because they just got in with the deer. Do
Well, he was
explain.
the only one eating it, if you notice. Everybody else was eating the human. He was the only one with a plate
Yeah,
full of venison.
when you call it out, I remember that, but initially,
Yeah.
no, I did not catch that.
Yeah. And they only had scraps. Everybody else had scraps. He had a
Yeah,
giant plate of
they
food.
were they were eating the broth essentially. Huh.
They were eating children, dude.
I don't want to remember that. No, oh, not saying it.
Mm-mm.
So they go hunting, and Ellie is also out hunting, and she ends up shooting a deer. First off, let's give Ellie her kudos on that is a moderate sized hunting rifle. I'm not sure what caliber that would be, but I don't think it would be. Yeah, it's probably like I don't know.
It'll have some kick to it for sure.
It'd have enough kick to it to at least knock her little ass back. And she ain't hit the ground once, but she had pretty decent form. I
Well,
mean,
she was in
granted,
prone. She was laying down, so that's why helps.
I was just about to say, now, granted, she probably got a little Call of Duty experience, but hey, how did we
Yeah.
see? But no, I figure by this point, her and Joel's been together so long that the point there is that Joel has taught her properly. And by Joel teaching her, it's made her able to survive with or without him, which is only going to make them stronger as a group.
Didn't they have a scene where they shot the rifle together? Or
Yes.
am I making that up? Okay.
No, you're
Yeah.
not. No, you're not.
Okay.
That was before they got to Tommy, actually, or right
Mhm.
after Tommy. No, I think it was before they got to Tommy.
Yeah, something
Because
like
it was
that.
before he got hit stabbed with the bat. So yeah, it was before Tommy.
Right.
Or shoot, that might have been right before. Either way. So she shoots the deer. Deer gets away. David and Frank, his name's not Frank. David and James. Whoa, I'm going a couple episodes back. David and James are the ones who catch it. Now here's just figure me out here. Fine, she's a really good hunter. She was able to creep up on them. Why they don't have hand weapons? Why don't they have sidearms?
Good question. You would think that maybe if you were out there, you would want to have
At,
something,
at
a
least the
pistol.
two-man hunting party should have sidearms.
Yeah. I think they maybe just got complacent,
Fair enough.
or
That
it's
you know
just,
what? Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. That's fair enough.
also Ellie has to live. so,
That's actually
so they
where I
can't
thought
have
about
an
it.
arsenal of weapons on them.
Yeah, that's where I originally thought like, Ellie has to live. But just considering they just got complacent, they seem like a very comfortable group, especially being led by douchebag number 12.
He's eating good.
He's eating very well.
Everybody else is starving.
Even though everybody has that very sucked in face look, which I'm not sure if that was to, kind of like they were malnourished a bit. I'm not sure if that was about the cannibalism or if that was just,
I
the
think it's
lack
just
thereof.
starvation. Yeah, starvation for sure.
Mhm. And I thought that was also cleverly done because it wasn't very overt. You didn't see everybody just, I'm so hungry and low on
Yeah.
energy. Like they were a well-moving town, but if you really looked, it was like, okay, they're not
They were
the
just
healthiest
skinny
group.
and miserable looking. Yeah.
They look like they were in the 1800s, like they made the 1800s look. Like they'd
Mhm.
say good afternoon and somebody would get an attitude.
There you go. That's a throwback right there.
There you go. So yeah, after they shoot the deer, I'm not sure what made Ellie think that they would make the deal with her for the penicillin, but essentially they do, and she gives them the entire deer. In fact, because at this point she's scared that they're going to try to take her.
Well, with good, yeah, because they are. He
They are.
reveals himself to her
He
at
definitely
the,
did that.
at the towards the end of it. So she got out of there pretty lucky.
She got out of there because he allowed her to, but it was still in the nick of time.
Right.
But
Yeah.
essentially, he allowed her to, if we're being very fair. Like he told James to lower the weapon and to let her go.
hmm
Now, I personally thought that was poor because with Ellie being as skilled as she is, I thought she would have covered her tracks better. So how would they
If
have
she
caught
got the
her?
drop on the both of them, I would have just dropped both of them right there.
That's what I was thinking. I thought you should have shot one of them. Actually,
At least one of them. Yeah.
pop one of them. The other one know for sure what's about to go down.
Mm-hmm.
But and also I was ashamed of James when James comes back after they had the little talk and they try to pin all this shit. And I like how he did that. He knew that James was there, so he said, "Oh, a guy and a girl, a guy with a little girl killed our party." Like, man, y'all don't know that.
Yeah. And Corey's got something to bring that up too.
Corey says, "And if they had guns, why did they original? Why did the original party Joel and Ellie ran into have like baseball bats and shit?" Right. Oh,
It's a
that
good
was their
question.
group. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So they did actually run into their group. See, I was under the impression that he had made the group up just to make everybody go with it. But yeah, that's a good. I
And
forgot
if
about
all of those people were peaceful, why did they attack Joel and
that.
Ellie?
Yeah, for what reason?
Obviously, they
For
weren't
no
good
reason at
people.
all. Joel and Ellie just got out of there because they were
Yeah.
definitely operating like raiders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you for that reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Plot holes.
they're everywhere. Listen, if we didn't all work together to retell this story and to get through what we think about it, we'd be falling in plot holes everywhere, sprained ankles, bruised knees. So they bring back the penicillin, they let her go, they go back, and during that small talk they had, we find out that David is a preacher, in fact, but he became a preacher and started his faith after the apocalypse, which made me, it even made Ellie. Like,
Yeah.
wait, how do you find
I
like
guess
after the world ended? That's when okay, that's weird, but okay.
Corey says that the raiding party Joel and Ellie ran into were trying to eat them. Actually, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, now that we know where they came from, that does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, son. Yeah, they were hunting anything living, any type of meat.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, that's deep. That's deep. So at this point, here's the thing. Why didn't they kill Alec when they had to come back searching for Ellie? Because clearly the rest of the troop doesn't like him. He smacked the little girl at dinner and is about to. At first, I'm thinking he's sitting at the table because he's taking the moms. Now I'm looking at the whole town different.
Wait. Who are you talking about? Alec?
David.
Oh, okay.
David, because Alec's dead. So
right.
I'm realizing like, okay, when they killed Alec, David automatically saw this opening to take Alec's family, but I'm thinking he's trying to take Alec's wife, but the wife ain't really said much. The only person that said anything or done anything that we've seen is the daughter. Fast forward, we realize what's really going on, and it's like, wait, but now I'm looking at the mom, like, hold up.
Oh, and then everybody else, like, hold up.
The whole town. Yeah, that's what I said the first
Yeah.
time, not the mom. I said the town, like the whole town, like, hold on. Which means when he said that he wanted to keep Ellie, they knew what he really meant.
Right.
No. Like, I don't care what kind of a commune we in. That dude gotta go.
Yeah, of course he does. It would have been nice to see a little bit more of that.
Some fight.
Yeah, some fight. But I guess they get theirs in the end, sort of. I guess.
How so? The town?
Well, I mean, no, the town doesn't. I don't know.
Oh,
I guess the town's just going to get away with it.
They free now. Like, really, the town is free.
Right.
Corey says the core group of guys who got out hunting are into the cannibalism. Joel and Ellie were marked for food. Granted.
Mm-hmm.
Why did the people who followed Koresh go along with his BS? And yeah, Koresh was sleeping with all the women and the little girls too. I actually did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of gets that vibe, right? Because he's violent in front of everybody and everybody's so scared of him. See, I would have actually liked to maybe bolster the religious fervor a little bit. That would have made it a little bit more believable had he had been more of a, like an evangelical sort of character. Because you don't really get the feeling from the townspeople that they're all
that they're all behind them.
Yeah, they're super religious and into it.
Yeah, I almost feel like some of them want to take him out.
But yeah, it felt like they were all just being held hostage.
Yeah, it reminded me of The Menu, but to a different level. But it reminded me a little bit of that, like where it's like
Right.
you could get out or you could fight back, but you're just not. Because I don't. It didn't seem like he even had people backing him to that level. It was just he spoke up, he took control, and nobody fought back. That's really what it feels like with David.
Yeah, I guess so.
Um. So yeah, he strikes the girl. They go back out hunting after Ellie. Ellie pissed me off. Um, I like that she had a plan. I just didn't like her plan. Why
Oh,
did you
when
creep
she
up behind him
left.
and just start shooting? No, no, I understand why
Right.
she had to leave and all of that, but she basically gave him time to get healed up. And to get the because his adrenaline, in my opinion, what happened with Joel to get him moving, the fear and the anger and the shock of possibly losing Ellie, all of that culminated into just an adrenaline rush. That
Sure.
adrenaline with the penicillin in his system allowed him to kind of start recovering. Now how that's gonna really translate next episode he's gonna be 100%. It shouldn't be, but he will be. Hopefully somebody
Yeah.
punch him in his
He's
stomach
got
and he
to he's
goes
got to
down.
be better now. Come on. We
Oh,
got things to
it's
do.
a video game. It's a video game. I
Yeah.
already said it.
Yeah.
But the way Ellie goes out, like I think she could have set them up and done maybe just something a little more clever than just find out where they are and get on your horse and go behind them and start busting shots behind them. Like,
She could have home aloned it. I would have enjoyed that.
yeah, got a couple of traps out or
Have
something
some
because
booby traps. Yeah.
plenty of time to have set up booby traps, but she had
Right.
none.
Right.
So that pissed me off just because it was like, I understand you were trying to help Joel, but what did you really do with your time?
Yeah, she was trying to just keep an eye on him. But yeah, I guess I don't blame her for not having booby traps. I just think it would have been interesting if she had thought of some rudimentary way of warding them off. Um, but then again, she really didn't have any way of thinking that somebody was going to be coming after her until after the
That's
deer
true.
thing. So
She got, you know what? She was as comfortable as they were to going out without sidearms.
yeah, and she gets pretty panicked when she heads back and after the deer because she knows that they're probably going to be coming. So
Hmm. Hmm. And yeah, because she made no attempt to actually get away or like to divert them. She really just attacked them off the back. Um, Corey says, and and right away, they always end up going around in a circle and get caught. She should have lit out in one lit out.
she should have just let out
Yeah,
in
should
one
like head out
direction.
in one
Yeah.
direction. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's exactly it.
Yeah, she
I
was
think
on
she could have.
horseback.
Yeah, I think she could have. Even if she blew through them, like bolstered through them on the horse, like just usher straight through them and just continues to go. And now you're leading them away from Joel. And 8 times out of 10, you're going to get away from them and make it back
I think she
long
could have
before they
popped
do.
off a couple shots while she was riding away, and that would have been fine. But yeah, she
Yeah.
did kind of go in a circle, and she got her horse killed. So
Right. And then when I saw her banking, I was just like, like these are grown men, sweetheart. I'm sorry. That's all I could think. And it sucks because I was just hoping Ellie didn't get like drastically hurt because, how would that help the storyline? But overall, I'm really just like, she goes, "Kick, kick, 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 kick," and I'm just like, oh boy, when it linked up against that tree, I'm like, ah, shit, she banked around, didn't she? Pow!
mhm.
Easy. It's not even, it wasn't even hard. The horse probably was like, oh, we about to die.
That was an instant kill there for the horse. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm. Let's see. So after all of that, what do we go through?
she gets
Ellie is
captured by
caught.
the,
She's
the
captured.
weirdos.
The guys wanted to kill her. I
Yeah.
was proud of them. That's the first real apocalyptic thing I think we've seen, where it's
Well, I
like,
mean, they killed a kid in episode 2. So
did they?
yeah, the one that stumbled into the QZ.
Ah, shucks, you're right.
Yeah.
Shucks, you're absolutely right. No, yeah, okay, never mind. I guess that's not the first time we've seen it because that's what I was about to say. It was like, listen, there's a lot of kids running through this, and yeah, I keep letting them live. I thought this was a apocalypse. Everybody must go, except for what was her name? Catherine. Catherine was the first person to actually say like, everybody's got to die. Like, oh, even the kids, Catherine. That's cold hearted.
Mm.
Jeez, chick. But it is the apocalypse, so she made somewhat of a point.
Boy, oh boy, I tell you what, if anybody finds out about the absolute communist paradise in Wyoming that's
It's a wrap.
happening, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. They going in
I
that
mean,
thing.
like,
Guns blazing.
how idyllic is their way of life? There's no raiders, there's no
We're gonna
infected,
find out Maria is the Scarlet Witch.
right? Maybe. There you go.
Well, actually, she looks a little bit more like full time. That's a different conversation too. Or we're gonna find out that she was a vampire the whole time in True Blood, and we don't find out until she's in The Last of Us.
Oh no, you find that out. She dies as a vampire in
I
True
know,
Blood.
I
Yeah.
know, but that's not the point I was making. I'm just kind of trying to draw the two together.
She did hold out for like the longest, I think. No, no, wait, no. She was like the first one to get bitten,
Yeah,
right?
I don't remember exactly how that played out. That was like 20 years ago.
It was a long time ago.
And I'm trying to be funny, but it really was like, yeah.
I'd
Um,
watch it again, but I can't get
for
over the
sure.
damn Sookie. Stupid, stupid
We put a
Bill.
filter over every time he says her name, and then we can watch it over. We could, you know, what, we could watch it and review it. We just put a filter over every time he says "Suki."
Yeah,
Talk Suki, Suki.
it's just
Oh,
awful.
Suki, Suki, Suki. Nah, Suki. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, just Google Suki and True Blood. You'll get it.
So
You'll.
cringy. Yeah.
You know what? It would be funny though for anybody who wasn't really trying to watch the series back then. It'd just be a funny meme for them
That's
now.
true.
Like,
Yeah, I'm
you were
sure
trying to enjoy
there's a
that show.
super there's a super cut of all of the times he said it in the series.
Yeah, you're trying to enjoy that show. It's probably gonna drive you nuts. But anyway, back to episode 8 because I'm
Yes.
going all the way back to episode 6.
We jumped off of the series. We went on to a different series altogether.
Totally
So yeah.
different series. Yeah, that's what
Mhm.
happened. And you know, but I want to say that the reason we did that though is because every episode has continuously. I know we were all really big on the Nick Offerman episode because we were looking forward to it, and they advertised it so far out. But they've done a very good job with the cameos and who's playing these different roles. It's always been someone who has a notable role or who had a notable role that we remember. Or if you don't remember them, when you find out who they were and what they were in, you're like, yo, I love that. That's very good by the casting department. That's very good by the casting department. Even how they were able to get Storm Reed in for the episode. What I don't think that was, yeah, was that last episode? Um
I don't know. You lost me. I don't know who any
Oh,
of these
sorry. The
people
character
are.
talking about the actors that are playing the different characters. So Storm Reed is the one who played Riley.
I already
Ellie's
forgot
friend.
that character. Oh,
Ellie's
okay.
friend,
Yes.
the
Okay.
girl.
Yeah. Hmm.
I couldn't remember which episode that was, but my point was finding, even as they mentioned in the post credit, an actor who was not only in the same level but in the same age group as the actor who plays Ellie, Bella Ramsey. So I think they've done a very good job of that, and that's how it ended up leading us all the way back to True Blood by me just remembering the character Maria and where she comes from in our
Oh, yeah. That's right.
visual history.
Okay. Anyways.
But yeah, back to episode 8, which is
Yeah.
so here we are. They've gotten Ellie, they've kidnapped her, she's at the compound. And Joel is up and being Joel. And when I say he's being Joel, he's being the Joel we've heard about, but not the Joel we've seen. He's in full-on rampage murder mode.
Hmm.
Um, the
You
Joel we
love to
saw in
see
this
it.
episode makes me wonder who was Joel 10, 15 years ago when he was healthy and young. Jeez, that must have been a murder machine.
Yeah, he's very good at killing. That's
I
for
don't think
sure.
I think he was a
For a
contractor.
general
Right?
contractor.
Yeah, he was a general contractor, right? He was a
Yeah.
hitman.
Right. Yeah.
He for sure. Now I know for sure he was a hitman. Corey said,
Oh, let me bring that up. Sorry.
Mhm. And remember, they were looking at food. David was looking at a new wife, daughter, in his sicko cult.
Which is why they
Um,
would want to kill her over keeping her.
yeah,
Because I think they just eat her.
yeah, they saw food, and he saw
Hmm.
something much weirder than that. Um,
So Joel is taking out the guys that are looking for him, right?
right. So Joe is going full John Wick in his his 60% health mode, which is pretty deadly still. Because again, this goes back to when we
I
were
think he's
talking
at
about
30%.
probably 30%, but
Yeah.
this goes back to when we were talking about why they didn't go and try to kill David. These aren't murderers. These aren't killers. These are town folk. These are regular guys who are just afraid of this hothead dude right here and are doing
Hmm.
what he's told them to do. They have no skills. That's not what their forte is. They're farmers essentially. How did they say? How did they say about the 60s and 70s basketball players, plumbers and janitors?
Hmm.
Um, Corey says that it kind of vindicated in his bad behavior. Oh, sorry, he was kind of vindicated in his bad behavior. They've been hinting at all of this time dealing with this type of group, isn't he? Yeah, he is vindicated. He's 1,000% vindicated. Everything that they tried to say to make Joel a bad guy, it's survival. But that goes to what Joel's been saying about it the whole time. He never said he enjoyed it. He said he did what he had to do,
Mhm.
and it's proven in this episode. You're absolutely right, Corey. Uh,
He's good at killing.
he's not just good at killing; he's good at surviving.
Mhm.
Because he wasn't killing nobody. He was down there trying to heal.
Well, yeah, but until, once they came to his doorstep, then
Hey,
he
listen,
was ready.
spider is in my house and not out. If a spider's outside, I'm probably gonna let it live. Spider is in my bedroom. Night night.
Although now we have Ellie is now competing against Joel for body counts. So,
Clearly,
mhm.
I'm not sure if I like that side of the show, but it makes me want to play the video game.
I mean, she's super justified in doing it. That's for
Every time.
sure. Yeah.
You know what? I think she's more justified in killing than Joel is so far in his body count. If we were to put reasonable body count, she wins.
Well, yeah, because I don't think she's had as many as Joel. That's for sure.
Well, all
But
of her every kill she has so far is reasonable.
yeah, yeah. But then we start blurring the line of reasonable because it's the apocalypse, and yeah.
This is true. This is very true.
But yeah, she's getting up there, and I'm sure she'll be competing further in that. So
Right. So Ellie discovers that David, after David has tried to tell Ellie he'll keep her alive a few times, she says, "No, fuck you, kiss my ass." Fuck you, so what? And David's, he's starting to feel some kind of way about that. But then Ellie finds out that he's feeding people to the town.
mhm.
And at this point, I think she realized she's been kidnapped. She's not just being tamed.
Yeah,
Because her options are this guy, the weirdo, or food. Her being the one inside the bowl.
yeah,
Once he decides that they're gonna chop her up into little pieces, I like her cleverness of remembering. Oh yeah, I bit this dude. Oh, I'm infected.
that was pretty good.
That was
Yeah,
pretty clever.
buy
Um,
yourself some time.
if you bit me, I'm just gonna kill you in that moment. What are we talking about?
Yeah, I
Even if
think
you
you
okay, you
might.
showed me that.
Yeah, I think you might be like, what the fuck, for a second. And it just
Yeah,
took enough, I guess. The insinuation is that he put the cleaver down,
yeah.
and it was just enough time for her to take the cleaver and
Hey,
chop that dude's neck.
because she been working on her skills. She getting stronger. She getting more confident, more bold. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
yeah, she
Corey's got a
kicks.
good line here.
Corey says, "Go tell them about the girl that broke your fucking finger."
Yeah,
That was all of our favorite line, Corey.
that's a good one. That was
Legitimately,
a good line.
I saw that and I was like, "Good shit." That shit.
Hmm.
Well, and it was the way she got to it. First, I saw him put his hand on there, and when they zoned in on it, I was like, "Oh, that's her seeing his hand," and I was like,
Hmm.
"She's about to break his hand or his finger. Like she's gonna do something, but she's about to fuck him up." And that's all I kept saying. I was like, "She about to fuck this dude up." And then
Hmm.
she put her hand there, and he put his hand on top, and I was like, "Oh, didn't see that coming," but I saw some weirdness.
Instant
Um,
snap.
bruh,
Instant snap.
he
Yeah.
did that. She put her hand on top, and I was like, "What is she gonna? Oh, broken finger. Good job, LA."
I mean,
Um,
she's lucky that he had to go, cower to go get one of his men,
yeah,
because,
because he's a punk.
yeah, that could have been, I mean, that could have been a wrap for her.
Yeah,
Although at
if
that
he,
point, you just got to do as much damage as you can. Who cares? Right.
I think if he had of had the audacity to try to come into the cage after her in that moment, she would have died trying to fight him off.
Yeah.
She would have done whatever it took. If it meant she wouldn't have made it out, she wouldn't have made it out. Um, and I was proud of her from that moment of this episode all the way through because there are times in this show where I've questioned how much Ellie would actually fight when it came down to her having to fight for herself. I don't question that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, she's a scrapper. She's trying to
Yeah,
survive too. So,
yeah. And
um,
because it was more so I was questioning her capabilities because of her age and her experience. I no
mhm.
longer do that because something registered to me. Just because they didn't show us, we don't really know what she's been through in some of the in between times and what she was going through at the Fedra school the entire time. Like she was raised by them, and it clearly wasn't a cakewalk.
That, and she has kind of a subtle advantage in that she's a 14-year-old girl, and nobody expects anything from a 14-year-old girl.
That's true.
And so she can catch people slipping a little
And Joel,
bit.
Joel has definitely taught her. How to Survive, as we've said. I think I've said at least 2 or 3 times.
Hmm.
Um, so after all of that, we after we get through all of the crap where he's, oh, I see you as a leader and all of that, he leaves to go and get somebody. But then we find out that Joel isn't just headed there. Joel's already made it to the camp.
Hmm.
Joel made it there pretty quick, and I know that's one of the places where you're like, nah, he healed up pretty fast. He kind of just jumped up and got on the move.
It's like a
Because that was
roughly a
supposed to be like
4 mile
2 miles.
hike, or
Well, it
yeah,
said it was
2 mile.
4 mile round trip, so I'm assuming 2 miles up, 2 miles down. Right.
Gotcha. Right.
Um, but so after all of the chasing and they get into their little fight, I didn't understand why she threw the hot burning wood at him. But when it caught the drape on fire, I immediately understood why. It had nothing to do with trying to hit him. It needed to happen for
Yeah.
the scene.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's an accident on her part, right?
It's
I don't
definitely an
know.
accident on her part, but I'm saying for the
Right.
way the scene is set up, it had to happen
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. Right.
That's what I'm saying. At first, I was just like, why didn't she try to fight him with it like a sword or something? But when it hit the drape and it caught on fire immediately, I was like, oh, okay, we got to burn it down.
Hmm.
You got to burn it down now. And I also thought the smoke was going to signal Joel to know where to get her from
I
or where
thought
to
so
come
too.
save her. But she didn't need that. So yeah, basically we see David be a creepo, and we all end up cheering and rooting for Ellie for about 15, 20 seconds, and she makes it out after
Well, after giving him exactly what he deserved, which
exactly
was
what he deserved.
face mush,
He tried
turning
to
your
take
face
her
into
innocence,
mush.
and she definitely cleavered him into 3 or 4 people. And good on her.
Itty bitty pieces, right? There you
Itty
go.
bitty piece. That is, thank you,
Hmm.
itty bitty pieces. Um,
Oh
but yeah,
yeah,
after
Corey
that,
says
she
the.
runs out. She's hysteric. Joel grabs her. She realizes it's Joel. She calms down a bit. He grabs his baby girl, lets her know she's okay, she's safe now. They can go, and they
Yeah, I
go.
thought that was a nice moment. I thought
I thought that was a
her
great
her
moment.
acting was good in that moment because you could see how upset she was, and it took her a second to recognize Joel. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, and
and
I like that what she went through, the taking a minute part to recognize him, because if she
mhm,
had recognized him too fast, it wouldn't have been realistic.
right,
The real part there is they wanted to the reality of the trauma that she had just went through, on multiple levels. On multiple levels,
hmm
I do want to say the way Joel is able to come in, calm her down, and them to just walk off, and that's the exact end. That's almost like a chef's kiss, because you could have overplayed that. You could have underplayed that. And for two of us, both of us wanting, I'm going to read this in a minute. And for both of us wanting this to be a 2 episode storyline, for this to be a 1 episode storyline and just flatten there, I can rock with that. Like it ended to me in the perfect spot. If they had have even said one word, it probably wouldn't have ended with so much impact. Corey says, yeah, the fire connects the Branch Davidian thing again, too.
right, which was the Waco, um,
Got it.
right?
Oh,
Yeah, how they
shit.
that
Damn,
burned.
you really
Yeah,
caught all of those, Corey. Good job. Good.
hmm
Thank you for sharing that.
we got Big Mike here. What
Maybe I
up,
didn't
Big
know as much
Mike?
about Waco as I thought I did. And I watched a few documentaries on it.
Yeah, it's a stat.
Hey, what up, Big Mike? I guess that makes her an underdog. I mean, she's been the underdog the entire time, mostly because she's a 14-year-old girl.
Hmm.
So yeah, that makes her the underdog in every situation. Even she was the underdog when she and Riley got into their spittle spat because Riley was 17 already.
Now, if she comes across a gang of 6-year-olds, she's gonna wreck house.
If she
That's all
comes
I gotta
across a
say.
gang of 6-year-olds, just understand that if it's more than four, she's outnumbered, and if they were raised on the right playground, she gonna lose that.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
I'm trying to remember what's the theory. What 5 10-year-olds is can take you out before 2 30-year-olds or something like that. I forgot how to. It's a
Oh
theory
yeah,
though
that's like
about
the
just
question of like, would you rather fight like a duck-sized elephant or an
elephant
elephant-sized
sized
duck?
duck. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Mike says, I was wondering where the town people were during the fire as well. It was technically it was a snowstorm going on, so they were all inside.
Yeah, they just thought somebody was burning extra wood, I guess. You know,
Yeah, why they weren't more attentive, I don't know. But
that and they're starving, so I don't really think they care all that
I
much.
so I came to the conclusion that once they saw that it was just David and they had already saw James go and not come out, and they know James is ace in the hole. I think some of them saw that shit and was like, "F David." And I wish they had shown that. That would have actually been like, all right, cool. Then it would have left us to wonder, so who's gonna take over the town?
I mean, somebody who's not an
The psychopath,
evil, yeah, somebody who's not evil and a psychopath,
cannibalistic weirdo.
yeah. Hopefully, but apparently those people are in short supply in this
Oh,
world,
in this town.
except in Wyoming.
I forgot what they said the name of the town was too.
Dude, the more I watch this show, the more ridiculous Wyoming scenes.
It is.
It's so
Wyoming makes no
ridiculous.
sense.
It's so ridiculous. It's
The
so
Wyoming
beautiful and
settlement
peaceful.
makes zero sense. The Wyoming settlement is actually an insult to the rest of the settlements. It's like a spit.
It kind of is. It kind of is. It's like it's like when you see like places like Rio and the favelas and stuff. It's like, good Lord, everybody else is in shambles and you guys are having like pasteurized milk and
Yeah.
organic cheese.
We're gonna get back to the Wyoming settlement in season 2, and they're gonna be done. They'll be raided. They'll be halfway destroyed because they got into a mini civil war. And then that's gonna trickle out into some people bringing in like outsiders, like raiders and shit. It's gonna be all bad when they go back.
I could be down for that. It'd be interesting to see.
Matter
Because
of fact,
everything
that's gonna
else
be
is
the new
awful.
apocalypse because everything else is already destroyed. Exactly, because everything else is awful. Like every QZ had to be toppled at some point.
Well, it seems
What's
like
different for their
most of
settlement?
them are out of commission, except for
Mhm.
maybe, I don't know.
Like,
Well, we know Boston is still in
right.
control. But
Except for the one they're headed to now. Yeah,
where are they going?
Boston.
No, they're not going back to Boston. No way.
I thought they were.
Why would they go back to Boston?
Where they left? Oh no. Let's see. Wait, let me remember. They left Wyoming.
They're currently in Colorado.
And they're going. Was it New York?
Are they going to go the California way? Go strike it rich?
California. In fact, I actually don't know where they're headed anymore. That's the scary part.
I don't know
We
either.
don't even know where
Maybe
they're
back to Texas. I don't know.
P-House. Hey, matter of fact, before we start segging out, Corey, Mike, let's see who else do we have in here? Anybody? Arsh. Sorry about that. I had to remember who I was in the chat with us today. Anybody know where they're headed right now? Because I can't seem to remember. It's definitely not in any of my notes. And we have something here from Corey.
They should go back to Wyoming because it's amazing. So
They should definitely go back. They should have been going back to Wyoming. Corey says it was like the condemnation of Joel, which we see now doesn't apply outside of Comitopia. Apparently. So it's a bit of a mixed message between episode 6 and 8. You know what? That's a very good point. But
when we find out that Wyoming is just Kanye's compound.
we said that actually in the process. We're like, we're Kanye. I thought there was in Wyoming.
Yeah.
But the only thing I could say or why it's probably not as they don't think it's as much of a mixed message is you have two totally different settlements. Although you're dealing with, and actually, you know what? And Joel's not in charge this time. Ellie is. So I guess that's where they see it differently. But I see what you're saying. And let's be real. Joel's not gonna like anywhere he lands, whether it's with the
No.
commies, whether it's with the
Fedra.
cordyceps lovers, whether it's with Fedra, whether it's with he's definitely not gonna want to go with the Fireflies. He just wants his own little settlement off to his own, and in that case, I think he should go back to Bill and Frank's. Was Bill and Frank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he should go back to their settlement and just turn on the electric fence and cage himself in until he withers and dies by himself.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which he'll be fine with.
Is there like a fungus cult? Like if you've played
Apparently,
Fallout,
we just saw it.
the children of Adam, they praise or they worship the nuclear bomb. It'd be kind of cool to see like people worshiping the fungus.
I would think that would have been some of the people who lived underground when we heard about the underground people who went underground on purpose. But that
Those
was
are the crab people.
the crab people. Yeah, but that never happened. So that's a great question.
Yeah.
And matter of fact,
Oh,
that's another question I have. Is that in the game? So two questions right now. Where are they headed? And is there a fungus cult in the game? Two questions I don't have current answers to.
nor do I. We'll have to see. But what do you think's going to happen in the next episode, man? It's one more left.
Finale. I think in the finale, we're gonna find out that Joel does parkour. No, I'm joking.
Hmm.
I think in the finale we're gonna hopefully we're gonna get a little more on this whole cordyceps situation. We're gonna go back to that doctor. Remember, we was at that we were with the doctor way back in what was that, China or Japan, wherever she was. But we're gonna learn more about that character because we only got her once, and that never went anywhere else. We never got any more information. I think that's gonna come back up for sure because we're gonna need to wrap the science side of this up, or we're gonna have to get more on the science side of this, and we're gonna be introduced to a major player that's gonna carry into season 2. Who? What? I don't know. I think they're gonna be a Firefly as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see because at this point, I don't really know where they're going. Their
Mhm,
fireflies weren't in Colorado.
mhm.
Obviously, we don't know where they went. So,
And they made an effort not to give us a trailer into the next episode.
yeah, they gave us kind of a small, but it didn't really show anything. It was just
That
them walking around again.
right. I'm gonna say last trailer compared to this trailer. This isn't a trailer.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
You
course.
see what I'm saying? But yeah. So let's see. Corey says here it's supposed to be that Ellie can help to try to find a cure, but they have to dissect her, and Joe refuses.
Oh, so
Oh, that's
she'd
supposed to
have
be the
to
next episode. Okay,
they'd
got it.
have to risk her life in order to find. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I figure she has to
that's
die.
not going to happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh. I hope Ellie don't think she gets to live and see the fruition of her
of
work.
course, Ellie is going to live. She's going to live longer than Joel is.
Nah, I
Yeah,
think
if you know
we gotta
anything about The
go.
Last of Us 2,
Oh snap!
yes,
Fair.
yeah,
I forgot. See,
yeah.
I thought they was gonna slushy up one of her arms, right?
No,
And
she
then he
can't.
was
She
gonna have to
can't.
carry that to somewhere else for them to do the research.
No, they can't kill her. It's Joel is going to go ape shit,
It was just
and
an arm. She's a mushroom. Remember, it's gonna grow back.
oh, okay, she's a salamander. All right.
No, I'm saying she's made of fungus.
She's not made of fungus.
Wait till she loses an appendage, then we'll find out.
Fair enough. If she starts having like those little fronds coming out of her arm.
Ah,
Gross. Gross.
they're coming at me.
But yeah, there's so one more episode left, man. I don't know if we have anything else. Do we
I
have
don't think
anything
we
else?
have anything else on this particular episode. Theoretically speaking, I'm kind of excited for the finale. If I wouldn't have said that 2 episodes ago, probably wouldn't have said that at the last episode. But the way this episode went, it's giving me the vibes that, damn it, I have to. It's giving me the same vibes that we got at the end of Game of Thrones, or excuse me, House of Dragons, where it was like, oh, you guys finally found a formula.
Mm. Yeah, or maybe you finally found your stride.
Yeah,
But the problem
fine.
is there's only one episode left, so
It's an hour and a
um,
half, guaranteed.
yeah, I think I'm interested to see what happens for sure. I don't know how they're going to leave it between seasons. But I can't 100% tell you that I'd rewatch this season.
No.
I just don't know if it has the rewatchability factor for me.
I'll say this. I would rewatch this season maybe if I were to play the game in between now and season 2.
Hmm.
If I were to play the game, I could see me rewatching this just to try to connect some dots, see if it
Cross reference.
makes sense to me. Yeah. Outside of that, no, I couldn't see me just sitting with this to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't hate it, but
Neither do I, but I don't know
it's
what that
right in
is. I
front of
just
you.
don't. I just don't really have the like. Oh, I can't wait to rewatch this
It
feeling.
doesn't have rewatchability.
Mm-mm.
You know what, I always liken movies, TV shows to the same thing I do albums. Some things don't have replayability. It's just is what it
Oh, I
is.
wonder if The Last of Us didn't have replayability. I never played it, so.
That's a very good question.
Hmm.
It might be a really good play, but it might be a one through play. You might not be able
Hmm.
to, or it might not be as exciting like certain games when you play it the second, third, 10th time.
Right.
You know, people can play the Grand Theft Auto storyline a million times and never get bored.
I
I don't know
played
how.
Red Dead for like 3 years, so yeah, I know.
There you go. I know I played
It can
one of the
happen.
Dragon Ages for about the same period of time, so I get it. Dragon Age is long, so it could actually take you like a year to pass it.
Mhm.
But with that being said, we'll stop being nerds right now. And we appreciate you guys for hanging out here on the Screen Time Continuum with us. We are going to be here for you on Sunday next week again, breaking down The Last of Us finale, episode 9. And we would love for you
Oh,
to. Yes, sir.
just sorry to interrupt your outro, but next episode, which is Wednesday at
Mm.
8:30, we are going to be reviewing Beast on Amazon Prime. If you guys want to watch with us, it is a story about Idris Elba having to fight a rabid lion. So that'll be a fun one.
I'm
So
so
we're going to
glad
be
that's the
watching.
beast we're covering.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Beast. It was a 2022 movie. I can't tell you that it's going to be great, but it'll be fun to watch Idris Elba fight a lion. So
Your heart will
there you go.
race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen trailers for that. That looks fun. Can't wait to cover that. So there you go. Wednesday, be here with us on the Screen Time Continuum, where we will be covering the movie Beast, which is starring Idris Elba. Now you know how to find it. The movie Beast 2022, starring Idris Elba. Find that on Amazon Prime for our Wednesday episode. Speaking of episodes and days and things that you want to tap into, tune into, like, share, comment, share with a couple of friends, subscribe, or even I don't know, download into your offline file so that you can listen to on the go. We have a couple of shows that you will enjoy depending on what you're into that particular day, but you have 7 days in the week, so I'm sure you'll enjoy them on different days. Let's start on Tuesday. Tuesday, you have If Numbers Could Talk. If Numbers Could Talk will be available for you on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. over on Facebook and YouTube. Screen Time Continuum will be here for you on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Or I'm sorry, at 8:30 p.m. on Wednesdays for the Screen Time Continuum. Everything that we have is available for you on YouTube, Facebook, some on Rumble, some on Spotify, maybe even Apple. Check all of the podcast places that you go to. If you have any places that we may not know of, maybe they're available in a different country and we haven't quite gotten there, let us know. We'll check into those and maybe we'll be able to upload there so you can have access on a different platform. But that was just the Wednesday we were at. Let's get on to the Thursday. On Thursdays, you're going to head on over to Twitch. On Twitch, you're going to type in strawberries in coffee and you're going to check out Dejan and see what he has going on over there for you. After that, you're going to head on over to King_of_Iliana. You're going to check out Big Mike and see what games he has going on over there for you. Make sure you like and follow both of their pages. They also should have YouTube, not should, they do. In fact, have YouTubes to make sure that their archives are there for you because Twitch has them as they're showing live and YouTube holds on to them for you. On Fridays, you're going to head on over and check out the Exofathom. The Exofathom is available on Fridays at 8 p.m. On Saturdays, you'll be able to check out This Married Moment. This Married Moment is available on Saturdays between 10 and 12 noon. And then on Sundays, you'll be right back here. Hey, it's Sunday right now, and you're on the Screen Time Continuum. Thank you guys for hanging out. It looks like we have one more thing from Corey here.
Let me bring that up. Where is it? Boom.
Corey commented on our rollout for Wednesday. He says, "You can't fight a lion, Idris Elba. Hold my beer." Yes, that sounds exactly like the movie I expect to watch as well, Corey.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, we want to thank Arsh, we want to thank Corey, and we want to thank Big Mike too for hanging out with us today, guys. We appreciate you for tuning in to the Screen Time Continuum for the Screen Time Continuum. My name is Keelan.
And I'm Nick.
We appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week or the start of your week. Have a good one.